Hey folks, this is Riker, and it's exciting times for Path of Exile because the new league has been revealed. In this video, we'll talk about Path of Exile patch 3.6, the Synthesis League and its mechanic, and the new items and skills and skill rebalance overhaul coming this patch. So let's start by talking about the Synthesis League mechanic. Now, story-wise, what's happening here is that we are helping this individual named Kavis recover his lost memories and help piece them together before he loses these memories forever. And this introduces a really cool new gameplay loop where we basically run through memory maps. As you're going to be playing, you're going to run into memory fragments. You're going to go inside these memories, and as they are collapsing in around you, you're going to have to go try and find stabilizers to stabilize the memory before it fully collapses. Then once you've stabilized a memory, you get to sort of bottle it up and keep it. And then you will use these stabilized memories as sort of puzzle pieces or game tiles to build a path through Kavis's mind to access his more long-forgotten memories in the deep recesses of his subconscious. So if we look at this game board here, for instance, you can see which are the memories that are already there, the ones that we want to get to. These are the big reward memories. And over on the right there, we have the tiles that we've collected. These are the memory fragments that we've stabilized. And so we're going to want to use them to build a path towards these reward memories. And as you'll notice, there are different paths built into different memories. Sometimes it'll go one direction, sometimes it'll go multiple directions, and you're going to have to find the right puzzle pieces to connect a road leading to where you want to go. And sometimes you'll have to make the decision, okay, well, right now I don't have the right piece to have the most optimum efficient route. Should I wait to get that piece, or should I build a more circuitous route? Now, these memories that we're going to want to have access to, the ones that will appear over time within Kavis's mind, these are the reward memories, the boss fight memories, and these will be our main goals. However, as we add our puzzle pieces in, we're adding these in similar to mapping. They come with modifiers, and the longer the route that we plan, the more challenging our run will be, because it'll take the modifiers from all the individual memories and add them together. More risk, more reward. Now, the thing with these memory fragments is that they are fleeting. They could only be used a certain number of times, and the little number below them shows this is how many more times you can run this before it's gonna vanish, lost forever. So you'll have to make strategic use of the tiles that you find. And one mechanic that I'm very happy about is that loot will only drop at the end of the run, not during the run. Similar to incursions, so you don't have to worry about missing any items or stopping to pick up anything until the run is done. So I find this to be a pretty cool league mechanic, and it seems to almost be an amalgam, merging, a coming together, a synthesis, if you will, of existing and past league mechanics and game elements. I'm seeing a bit of delve in there, a bit of incursion, a bit of harbinger, mapping. And of course, along with the new league mechanic, we're also going to get some new items. Fractured items. Now, a fractured item is an item that comes with mods that are locked into the item. So even if you re-roll the item, those mods will not change. They will not be randomized even within themselves. Now, sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll have some of these broken mods that are actually useful to you. So you'll want to use that item as a crafting base. But odds are most of the time, the broken mods on your item will be garbage, let's face it. But thankfully, you don't have to just junk that item, because we're also getting an item called the Synthesizer. You've got quite a treasure there, in that synthetic cube. The Synthesizer is an item in which you input fractured items, and it outputs a synthesized item. And a synthesized item would be a base item with new implicit mods. An implicit mod is a modifier that doesn't go away if you re-roll the item, and it doesn't count against the other number of mods you can have. In other words, it's basically an extra free modifier. Now, we'll apparently have some form of control over what implicit mods we will get, and it's going to depend on what we input as our fractured items, but the exact mechanics here are at this point unknown to us. We'll have to figure out the cube recipes. Now, in addition to all this, we're also getting a bunch of other new items in this patch, including over a dozen new divination cards that were developed by the game's supporters. We're also seeing 16 new unique items, including this nebulous void scepter, which I would have loved to have on my Arc Witch. 20% increased lightning damage per 1% lightning resistance above 75%. Yes, please. And so let's talk about the skills, because I was running a self-cast Arc Witch. In fact, I was following Enki's Arc Witch guide, which is such an amazing build guide. It's so robust. Yes, it's not the best build in the game, but it's one of the best guides I've found for Path of Exile. Accessible to beginners, shows you exactly what to do, how to build forward. I will link that in the description. It is an amazing build guide. But we all know that the last league was not about self-cast, but more so traps and totems and mines and what have you. Well, in 3.6, self-cast, aka now known as hand casting, is going to be a thing again, hopefully, if the developers' plan succeeds. There's roughly 40 caster spells in this game, and they have rebalanced all of them. And their objective was to make hand-casted spells viable again. In addition to the massive rebalance, we're also seeing some new gems, including the new support gem Unleash, which builds up power over time to have a spell cast fire multiple times. And it seems the way this will work is that over time you will build up charges on a spell, and then when you cast the spell, you expend all of your charges at the same time to add repeated casts. So if you have no charges, then the spell just casts as normal. If you have one charge, then it'll repeat once. If you have 3 charges, it'll repeat 3 times for a total of 1 cast, causing 4 instances of the spell. Now, this might not seem useful to a lot of builds that just revolve around continuously spamming a skill. However, if you are a caster who is in a boss fight and you need to dodge incoming attacks or wait for the next boss phase, during these periods of you not directly attacking, you could be building up charges, thereby making your time more efficient. We also have the new support gem Spell Focus, which seems to shift from an area increase to a damage multiplier with repeated casts of the supported spell. It's not 100% clear on how this will work, but it seems that basically it'll start off on your first cast as just a increased area of effect to a spell, but then with repeated casts, it'll close in the area of effect while increasing the damage. We're also getting the game's first holy spells. They're introducing a holy spellcaster archetype. We have the spell Divine Ire, for instance, a channeling spell that makes you draw in energy from enemies around you while damaging them. And then when you stop channeling, you release an energy beam in front of you that deals the damage of all the channeled up energy you have. This is some gameplay footage from Ziggy D, awesome YouTuber, super cool guy, one of the best sources for Path of Exile videos out there. Do check him out if you are not aware of him somehow. Another holy skill is Purifying Flame. You're gonna shoot forth a holy shockwave. We have Wave of Conviction. It releases a holy wave that spreads out ahead of you. And then we're also getting more chaos spells to allow a chaos spellcaster archetype to evolve. We have Bane that applies the effects of all curses that it's linked to enemies in an area, and also deals a damage over time effect in that area. And then we also have Soul Rend, which is a projectile damage over time effect. And then there's Malevolence and Zealotry, 2 new auras, presumably Chaos and Holy respectively. And we're not sure what these are going to do, but they're apparently mana reserve powers. So lots of exciting changes coming with Synthesis. For those who like cosmetics, there will be 2 new supporter packs. There's also a music overhaul, lots of awesome new music being introduced to the game. Excellent job done there. And for those wondering what's going to happen with Betrayal, well, Betrayal is going core. Syndicate encounters will, however, be more rare, but if you do encounter an area that has Syndicate activity, then you are more likely to find more than one Syndicate encounter in that area. The Atlas of Worlds also will be shifting once again. So if you're a standard player, womp womp. Overall, I love GGG and I think they're doing a wonderful job, but this does seem like one little thing that should be addressed for Standard League players, that having their Atlas reset when the whole point of Standard is to not be affected by the League stuff, especially when money is involved in buying the map tabs. I just wish there was some solution there. And the answer can't be lol who plays Standard. So Synthesis will be launching on March 8th on PC, March 11th on Xbox One, and mid-March on PS4. Around March 4th is when Betrayal League will end, and we'll get the 3.6 Balance Manifesto. Around March 5th is when we'll get the 3.6.0 patch notes, and around March 6th is when we'll get the complete information on the new and modified skills. And then, of course, throughout the rest of the year, we're going to get 3 more expansions to Path of Exile. And that's going to wrap up this video. If you haven't yet played Path of Exile, or if you are new to Path of Exile, I encourage you to check out my Path of Exile new player guide, and otherwise, I encourage you to leave a comment with your thoughts on PoE Synthesis. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what you see on this channel and want to support the creation of more content, you can consider becoming a Royal Raider on Patreon, where your support is immensely appreciated. We've got a variety of backer rewards, including behind-the-scenes content, monthly virtual hangouts, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more gaming content.